Hello and welcome. Today we've got Ian Clark, and today we are going to be focusing on the Water Awareness Week that we have this week. We're launching a Water Week to spread the word that everyone's dehydrated and we don't even know about it. And, the water that we're drinking is very dirty. We're going to discover why it's dirty. This is the talking topic today, and how we're going to take responsibility in our own hands to make sure that we are healthy and we're drinking the right water. Ian, thank you so much for joining me. Where do we begin? I mean, how long have we even had fluoride in our drinking water? How long has it been now?
Hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, to start with, this water topic is far more important than we've ever given it credence. And the discoveries on the water itself, there was a water documentary done by Dr. Brian Ardis, where he was showing the things that are intentionally put in the water that are intentionally harming our health. And fluoride, for example, ever since the Second World War, and probably before that, well before that, it's a waste product that they wanted to get rid of, but it's not really that. Why would they put it in our water supply? It's supposed to help with dental. I don't believe there's any evidence of that. It definitely calcifies your pineal gland. We talked about that at the last interview. When your pineal gland gets calcified, it messes with your ability to function mentally and spiritually, and it compromises you. When you're compromised, you don't know you are. You don't know if you've been dumbed down, because the dumbing down prevents you from knowing it. And I think the whole world's been dumbed down heavily by the things that are in the water supply. So what is the one thing you do more than anything is you use water other than breathing air, which the air is a whole another topic, but this week we're focusing on the water. So you cook in water, you bathe in water, you take showers, you swim in water, you drink it. It's in all the different, like from coffee to tea to pop to all the things that people drink. And they're not even thinking about, where did that water come from? How clean is that water actually? And why am I drinking fluids? You drink fluids because you want to be hydrated. And because you're 80% fluid, so you want to have electrolytic fluid being enhanced, and you don't want to have any contamination coming in. But unawares, you can't tell. Like, this is a glass right here of the purest water in the entire world. There is nothing more pure than this. Mm-hmm. It's also had hundreds of millions of dollars invested into it to allow it to be osmotically transferred into the cells. So these are clinically trialed. Mm-hmm. And it has a certain exact ratio of amino acids and a certain exact ratio of elements, electrolytes, that you can go buy electrolyte products. They're not going to help you, because you're not starting out, number one, with the most pure water on earth. And number two, it's not the right ratios. Nobody's spent hundreds of millions of dollars with clinical proof that water's getting into the cell, because they didn't care enough. And there's a whole story about this. I mean, we will, at the end of the week on Friday, we will let everyone know, what this is, and how to get it. Right now it's in the United States. It's a bit of a challenge because I live in Canada. I had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get this, but you only need 24 ounces of this in one day to be able to fully hydrate your body. But aside from drinking the water, you have to remove the contamination that you've accumulated in your body over your lifetime unknown to you. So do you ever go to a restaurant?
Yes, I do. And they always bring me tap water. And I'm like, no, please, glass bottled water, please. And I don't even know if I even trust that. And the other thing that they do that I don't like, Ian, is that when I do ask for a bottled water, glass, mm-hmm. they bring it to me and they've already opened it. And I said, I'm so sorry, but please give it to me sealed, because I want to break off the seal. Especially the work we're doing. I don't want anyone poisoning me. I have to make sure I'm drinking really clean water here.
Mm-hmm. Right. And even the Perriers and the San Pellegrinos, I have no clue what the original, like they say spring water. What is spring water? If I go to a mountain myself and I know that's a pure part of the world, if I'm in Banff in Alberta, and I know there's a spring there that's really low parts per million and it tastes great, that's amazing. And people literally go drive their cars out and they take their glass bottles and they catch this water. How many people are going to do that? How much time do you have to do that? You just don't have time. I don't have time to do it. I don't live near there. and I don't know what's in it. I don't want to test every single thing. What I want to know is for sure that the water I'm drinking is very, very clean and it's structured properly with the right aminos and the right electrolytes. That's number one. So I bring my own water. I don't let anybody feed me the water. And I'm not paranoid. I'm just going, look, I want to make sure that I know what I'm putting in my body, because we do consume a lot more fluid than we do food.
Mm-hmm.
And we're careful about our food. We don't want to eat contaminated food with a bunch of adulterated seed oils cooking in some kitchen in some restaurant. I mean, even you go to Michelin star, like the high level restaurants, how careful are they with the water? And you go to Starbucks, they say they filter it. I don't go near Starbucks. I wouldn't trust them any further than I can throw them. So it's your body, and you've got to know what is coming into your system, because all these things build up. Have you ever seen an age that was more diseased? Like, look how much disease is out there right now. Where'd it come from? It's coming through the water. And, this whole water documentary where there was a discovery that the snake venom is used in all the drugs and all the waters all over the world. How many people even know about this? And this is not a conspiracy, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, how about, the drinks that we're having, for an example, it's not just water, it's other things. So they're still using the same type of water to create those drinks as well, because it's free for them. They're not going to use bottled water. For example, if they needed to add the water to maybe, in other drinks, for an example, that have water in it, but have flavors, which makes it a nice, juice drink or whatever it is that has water in it, they're going to use tap water. It's free. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's cheating everywhere. What are the biggest companies in the world, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, you name it, Procter & Gamble, all these different companies, Unilever? They own companies that own companies that know, like the biggest business in the world is health care or sick care. These are the biggest businesses because people are getting compromised with their health all the time. Well, let's get to the root cause. Let's look at what's really going on. It's up to you what you do. Now, I didn't learn really about water until I was in my 60s. I thought I was doing okay, buy bottled water, but that's full of estrogens because of the plastics. Those things sit in trucks going from the manufacturing facility. They get exposed to heat. As soon as you put heat on a plastic bottle, it's going to dump a bunch of chemicals in there that's turning males into females. And you wonder what's happening. Why is my endocrine system messed up? Male boobs are a big problem these days, with people that live a sedentary lifestyle. That's never happened before. Yeah. So this is something that is accumulating. So we have solutions, definitive solutions that get this garbage out of your system, because you will build it up. Your body's a storage facility and it doesn't detox easy. There's forever chemicals. I don't believe in them anymore because now I know how to get them out. But if you don't know how to get them out, they are forever chemicals. They go in, they don't come out.
The other thing I want to say is when you look in the water in the toilet, you look at the water in the toilet. That is the water we're drinking when we're drinking tap water. And I wonder, when we're drinking water, are we drinking sewage water, but filtered sewage water? Well, could you explain that for us?
Well, all the municipal water systems, anybody can check it out wherever they live. They put it through a whole process. They use different things that agglutinate the main materials out. They dump all kinds of stuff and chemicals to do that. They don't clean it up before it gets to the tap to come back to our house. We are definitely drinking fluids that have gone through human bodies millions of times. And people, take pharmaceutical drugs. They do chemotherapy if they're sick. They do all these different things. All that creates a memory in the water as well. Because water is far more than just some liquid that we take for granted. And it's a unique property. There are many people who have done, research into water technologies like Schauberger, Victor Schauberger. If you've ever heard of him, look him up, Viktor Schauberger. And, he died in the 50s. But he discovered implosion technology that was happening with rivers going down mountains. So there's this whole massive revelation about water. But at the end of the day, what are you putting in your system? How careful are you? So you want to amp up your carefulness. This water comes from a discovery of how to purify water to levels that we've never heard of. It gets the Teflon out. It gets the snake venom out. It gets all of the fluorides, all the chloramines, all the things that they put in the water to keep it from killing you so it doesn't have microbes, because you can get waterborne disease. Did you know that 4,500 children per day die of waterborne illness just from drinking bad water? You go into third world countries like India, different places where India is not really third world per se, but parts of India is like a third world country. So there's a gentleman who we'll talk about on Friday who spent literally billions of dollars figuring out how to make pure water in high volume super efficiently so that there's almost no cost to it. And he can take brackish water, which is like undrinkable out of a well, for example, or gray water, which is the water that comes out of these sewage treatments, and turns it into the purest water on earth. And he knew that the people over in India, for example, where his mom and dad were from, he went over there and he said, why are people not able to make a living? What's wrong with this? Like, people are people. Everybody needs to have a higher quality of life. Yet there's hundreds of millions of people in India who couldn't make a living. So we thought, okay, they're missing two things. They're missing, it's not money. You could give them money, it's not going to help them. You give them pure water because they have filthy water that makes them sick all the time, and give them electricity. And there's a whole documentary on this now that's, again, we'll talk about this on Friday, because it's like a little bit of a teaser. I want people to become, anticipating some very, very important information that we'll share. But this is the time to alert, to turn on the alarms, because you are responsible for yourself. Your body is your number one asset. Now, you are the asset, right? But your body is your number one asset. And your body's continuously being compromised when you're not paying attention to the fluids you're putting in your body. Now, we have developed two things that allow you to detoxify your body, which are very powerful, very important, but you don't want to keep putting more toxins in. So you're going to take a double approach to this. You're going to become super conscious of every time you lift a glass of anything. And, and if you're drinking alcohol, that's just a hyper poison, but people drink alcohol. Alcohol is one of the biggest, or coffee. That's another drug, right? Caffeine is going to, stimulate your adrenals and create fake energy. That's just what it is. It's a drug. And you want to be able to have the elements that you need, which, you and I have talked about Solaris many times, right? Mm-hmm. So Solaris has the ability, it's an Ayurvedic blend of clove, rosemary, and thyme. And it's all three plants, the entire plant extracts that go into a solution that disappears in water. You drink it. And that goes and turns these terrible substances in your body into inert matter, and then you just excrete them. You get them out. We can get these forever chemicals out of our body now. The other one is black seed oil. Now, we call it black human seed oil because that's really what it is. But everybody has heard of black seed oil nowadays. It's a very big trending thing. And when you take just 1 teaspoon a day of that, but it has to be a very specific produced one that is not damaged, and you take that, and that goes and gets all the gunk and the glue from the seed oils and the diets. You go to a restaurant, what do they cook the food with? Canola oil. Mm. Why? Because it's cheap. And it's the worst thing you could possibly put in your body as far as a so-called nutrient. So it's very important to get the accumulated gunk that is plugging you up and causing disease down the road. Just get it out of your system. So there's these little combination of things that you can do that are very, very affordable. And then you stop wasting money on things that don't work. You put your money, your time, and your effort and your energy into things that do, and you watch what happens. Yeah. Your body lights up, like you're young, you're healthy. And you're healthy because you do a whole lot of different things in your life. Mm-hmm. So what does your day look like when you drink fluids? Like, if just go back over last year, just think, what have you been drinking every day, day in and day out?
I drink water. I always drink water. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, I don't always drink water from, a glass bottle. It's plastic. And when I go out to restaurants, I'm guilty of having Coke Zero, which so now and then with my food. It's, what do you think about that? It's terrible. I need your advice, Ian. You need to help me out here.
These are all, everything's loaded with chemicals. Like Coke Zero would have likely aspartame in it, aspartame, however you want to pronounce
What
it.
does that do? Why is that bad for us? And why do they put it in there? I mean, can they put sweeteners in there without sugar and affecting us like
Yeah.
aspartame is?
Very easily. They could put erythritol, which is a carb, but it's not digestible. You get 0 carbs from erythritol. That's very affordable. They could put it in there, tastes sweet, gives it the flavor, and that eliminates that whole problem. Why would they put a known brain toxin, aspartame, into these pops, into these drinks? Why? What's with the Splenda? It's all deceiving the people. Everyone knows that sugar is not good for you because sugar spikes your insulin and eventually turns into insulin resistance. If you mix glucose with fat in your diet, that's not a good combination. But everywhere you go, from the food you eat to the fluids that you're drinking, is loaded with stuff. Coke, whatever, Diet Coke, any diet products are really messed up.
So
and there's stevia as well.
When you have chocolate, it really increases your insulin levels. How long, does your insulin levels stay up for until it goes back down again after eating chocolate?
Well, it depends how much carbs are in there. Any carb is going to spike your insulin, no matter what it is. But certain sugars are they're inflammatory. So when you have glucose for fuel, that burns hot, fast, and dirty. If you have fat for fuel, it burns cool, slow, and clean. It's a totally different thing, and you have to have the right fat. If you have the wrong fats, like all the seed oils that they put into all the foods, they're absolutely adulterated, they're damaged, they're the worst thing you put in your body. The interesting remedy for that is the black seed oil, which is a seed oil, but you need 1 teaspoon, and it's unadulterated, it's undamaged, it's not cooked with. You can sprinkle it on a salad if you want, but just 1 teaspoon after a meal will change your life.
Yeah.
It is absolutely trending so hard not because somebody marketed it, but because it actually drives results. And then people say, hey, man, just take a teaspoon of black cumin seed oil every day. Watch what happens. Everything changes. Digestive issues go away. There's so many different things that go away because it is detoxifying you. It's Absolutely. Not a cure, right? It's not a cure-all, but people tout it as the ultimate cure-all because all that stuff that would make you sick is just removed from your body.
Yeah, I saw something online actually that black cumin seed oil removes tumors or eliminated tumors. And I saw this completely, by accident on Instagram, or it was a reel or something that I saw, and they showed research on it. And it was really interesting. What do you think about that?
Well, there's all kinds of claims, like medical claims that people make on products. I don't believe in the medical claims at all, because what I know happens is the thing that's causing the problem is a foreign substance that shouldn't be in your body. Whether it's a foreign protein poison, whatever it might be, with all the people who have been, receiving pharmaceutical injections and pharmaceutical drugs over their lifetime, like from a child all the way through, all those are filled with what is now known as snake venom. Just do your research, look up Dr. Brian Ardis, Bryanardis. He was interviewed by some different people over the last 4 years. And it's not a conspiracy, it's factual data. There's documentation about it. He didn't come up with the documentation. He just simply discovered it and said, hey, I've got to let people know about this.
Yeah.
And so whatever all of us got it.
So you're saying there's snake venom in water. I've heard of that too.
Definitely. It's everywhere. It's intentionally put in very tiny amounts. And the tiniest amount is all that's required to slowly get you sick. If everybody started getting sick and dying right away, it would be like, well, what's going on? But it's just a gradual work towards an unpleasant death, right? And if you're genetically predisposed to being sensitive, then you're going to express those diseases sooner. Some people die in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Some people live till they're 95, eating out of the dumpster and drinking their face off. It's like, but that's highly unusual. That genetic expression is rare to see somebody, but they can say, oh, that person did it. That doesn't mean you're going to do it. I'm really sensitive. I was almost dead at 46 and I had to fight for my life. And I had to learn how to get that stuff out. I didn't know why I was sick. I really wasn't any different than anybody else. I
Yeah.
didn't drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes since I was 21, and there's just a lot of discoveries right now. And it's simple stuff. It's not complicated.
I
It's
think
not expensive.
Yeah, no, I think water, what we eat and what we drink is very, very important. And that's why we've dedicated this week for water. And a lot of us are not hydrated. We're very thirsty. We need real clean water, and we don't drink enough of it either. And we think we're hungry, and then we eat. We become obese, and it's very, very hard to eat healthy food. Everything is processed. Even you go to Costco now, and you buy meats. Even there's injections in there, and it's not quite natural. And I always feel that when I go to the States, I put on more weight, and when I come back to the UK, I lose weight, and my diet's exactly the same. And I've noticed that the ingredients contents is 3 times bigger than it is in the UK. When I look at the same products and compare them, I feel bloated. Just when I go for a coffee, I feel bloated. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's to do with glyphosate primarily. Glyphosate is called Roundup. It's done by Monsanto, which Bayer owns that company now. And everything is sprayed. So you could have an organic farmer in the area, but they're still going to get contamination. And there's the hybridization, the genetic modification of the foods. There's a million things that you just don't go near that food. Anybody in the health conscious world doesn't touch that stuff. But the plastic bottles are a big problem. We talked about it earlier. I mean, that's everywhere you turn around, you just got to eliminate all that stuff. So it's actually really simple. It's not like you have to study every last little thing. It would be like getting, say, if you were a person who was supposed to detect a counterfeit bill, like $100 bill or a 100-pound note. And you don't go and study all the counterfeit different variations. You study the original. You get an original note, you study it thoroughly, and you just learn that one. And then you can tell all the garbage that's outside of that. You can immediately detect a counterfeit note because it doesn't match that one thing. You could have a million different counterfeits, but you have the one original. So it's the same with water, same with food. Learn what the original foods are. Learn what your body actually wants. And then your body will tune in. And you have to I just gave myself to start with 30-day windows. I say, okay, so I'm going to take 30 days. I'm going to be very diligent about this particular protocol that I'm on, and let's see what happens. And then my body would respond very well. And I go, okay, now I'm going to keep doing that particular thing. So it's like that. And this is an educational process. My job is to educate of the things that I've learned. So my gift was to be able to identify people at the top categories of all these levels of health, whether it's brain or digestive or endocrine or respiratory or circuit, whatever, you name the systems. I simply was led to meet the people who had the most valuable information. And it was the simplest. It got easier and easier and easier, cost less time, energy, and money to do the things that were right because it was simplified. This is a very complex world, and the complexity is designed to confuse people. They go like, I don't know what to even look. Well, yeah, because they're looking at all the wrong stuff. Look at the right stuff and do the right things to find out for yourself.
Absolutely.
Right?
No, of course. So we've dedicated this week for a water week to spread awareness. It's very important because the deep state, they're poisoning us, not just in the tap water, but also in the plastic bottled waters. Ian, we're doing another interview together on Friday, which you're going to have more information on solutions, your protocol in how to combat that and how to take all the gunk out of our bodies so that our immune system is working and functioning properly, and our metabolism is working even better, where we can lose weight. Because a lot of it isn't just about how much you eat, and putting on weight. It's also, if your immune system is working really good, it will be able to also break down body fat. So what is it you want to tell the viewers today? And then what is it that you're looking to tell the viewers on Friday when we do our next interview?
Well, what I'll do is I'll reveal on Friday what this is, because we have to be prepared for that. Because when people find out what this is, they're going to want to be able to get access to it. In the interim, The most important thing you can do is begin to work on getting the stuff out of your body that has been accumulating. And you want to, yes, people are dehydrated. When you're dehydrated, it makes you think you should eat more food. It's really just a cry because you're thirsty. And then people eat food as they're tricked into it. The body will go to the perfect weight it's supposed to be automatically when you no longer have that toxic load. The reason people put a bit of weight on, or a lot of weight, is because the fat is grabbing a hold of that and encapsulating so it doesn't kill you. And it builds up. That's why people in North America, they get very obese. There's mold throughout all the different food chain. Have you ever gone to Greece? Have you ever visited Greece?
I'm actually going on in September.
Oh, cool. So Greece is phenomenal. You go there, you don't see a whole bunch of fat people walking around. You can literally eat the food in Greece. I've gone and tested it out, and I just felt fantastic. Never gained weight. I was eating more food than I normally would eat when I went to Greece, and the food is amazing. So that's an example on the earth where they don't do the glyphosates and the genetically modified stuff. It's not a wealthy country, but it's wealthy in the sense that they're eating good food all the time. It's not my style of diet. Once I understood the glucose fat ratio thing, then I totally changed everything. And I would do the same in Greece. But yeah, we know that the United States particularly is the nation that was attacked the most. It was like a predetermined attack. It's the highest GDP nation in the world too. That's where the money is. That's where the wealth is. Like, go to Wall Street, check it out. Just look
Absolutely.
at GDPs, right? Gross domestic product.
Absolutely. Well, Ian, thank you so much for all your time. I'm going to leave some information below in the description as to what my solution is for cleaning my body and hydrating me, and taking all that stuff out of my body. So I'm going to leave the link below in the description. Ian, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
I just want to thank you for being a diligent person and caring enough about yourself and about your family to educate yourself, to bring yourself up to a speed at the highest levels of knowledge and wisdom to be able to have an amazing experience in this lifetime.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Ian, and we'll speak again very soon. You take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, Nicholas. Yeah.